Mr. McKinley for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the committee to be allowing me to participate in this discussion. Thank you for being here. I've got several questions. I don't know how I'm going to get through them all in 5 minutes, but let me. Last week we had some testimony from Purdue University. Dr. Ridgway came in and explained some of the differences between the cost of handling between the fly ash if it were considered a hazardous waste. And she was suggesting that it would rise from $300,000 at a university to $25 million. Now, that's not a cost that can be absorbed by the taxpayers or but it's going to be directly passed on to the consumers. And in that case, you had indicated somewhere your analysis had been, I believe, $4 a month or $50 a year under a Class C, subsection C classification. I heard you make that testimony earlier. Whereas her number is closer to $600 a year. Was she wrong?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. The previous number.
We can get that for you then on that, but I think we need to take a look at that in the difference. Then you also talk about the beneficial use, and I heard testimony from our colleague from California refer to it as toxic fly ash. I don't know that. Is the EPA saying it's toxic?
We have. You
agreed. I mean, you didn't correct him when he said toxic fly ash, and you sat there and accepted that. Is it toxic?
We have, again, we're in the middle of a rulemaking, and whether it's regulated on a C or D is something that we're considering.
Because if it's toxic, I think we should treat it a lot differently with it. I'm not interested in trying to pass this thing on, especially try to force it on the consumers if it's toxic. Yeah. And if it's a hazardous material, we shouldn't do it. I mean, you've referred to the studies in 1993 and the study in 2000 that both said it's not a hazardous material. Mm-hmm. The testimony is there. So I'm concerned that the EPA is continuing this mantra that's going to stigmatize a byproduct, an unavoidable byproduct of burning coal. Mm-hmm. And you talk about the whole administration is concerned with what you're doing. We have information here in this packet from OMB, the Army Corps of Engineers, Department of Energy, DOI, Department of Interior, Transportation, TVA, USDA are all saying this could have some serious consequences to the economy of this country if you proceed with classifying it as a hazardous material. Their own comments back in here talk about the threat. What will corporate liability lawyers tell companies about creating wallboard for use in homes out of hazardous material? Would you, if you allowed it to be considered a hazardous material, would you allow hazardous material, even though in comment toxic, to be used in drywall in our schools for our children? You're saying that's an okay beneficial use?
Well, again, the only thing that we're identifying is the mismanagement of coal ash could result in impacts. There are lots of products containing constituents either made with coal ash or not.
There are a lot of products that have toxic chemicals with it. I understand. You do understand bitumen asphalt highways have nickel, vanadium, chromium, mercury, arsenic, selenium, but yet we have asphalt highways all across America. What I'm not sure I understand, since the concentration levels are quite similar between fly ash and asphalt, why we're singling out singling out fly ash for this issue. Do you also consider the amount of additional greenhouse gases that will be emitted by replacing this? We're going to do more damage to the environment with greenhouse gases if again, following the EPA's argument, if we substitute fly ash in other products, we're going to have to create more greenhouse gas. Which should we be more concerned with?
Well, clearly very much acknowledge the greenhouse gas benefits, among other benefits, of beneficial use of coal ash. I mean, the cement industry, for example, the concrete industry, tremendous benefits, greenhouse gas and otherwise. With respect to highways, we fully support the use of coal ash in highways. In fact, we have worked with the private sector, we have worked with the Department of Transportation.
You have in terms of capsulization, it's not, it's the surface. When you drive over it, you're going to create dust. There's concrete dust. We all know that. I've designed plenty of highways in my days, and we all know that just simply using the highway, scraping it, the use of it is going to create more airborne debris. If you're going to call it a hazardous material, I think we've got problems. I'm afraid I've run over my time, but I look forward to hearing more from you in the days ahead on this. Thank you very much. I yield back my time.